My name is Charles Cushing. I'm an oil painter. This is what I do for a living. I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. When I left home, I kind of naturally came to Philadelphia. I've been able to just work as an artist for roughly the last 25 years. I graduated from the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts in Philadelphia. One of the things that fires my enthusiasm is that no one can express themselves, or no one can express myself better than me. So there's always the potential that, that one great painting is the next painting that I paint. So it's not, in other words, it's not like a pecking order of who's better than who, or, you're not as good as Rembrandt, or you're not as good as this painter or that painter, or competing with your peers per se. It's really, it's kind of a cliche, but it's really like you're competing with yourself. Starting a painting from the Philadelphia Rail Park. We're basically on 13th Street, sort of between Callahill and Buttonwood. And this is kind of a classic way to leap into a painting by putting what we call a imprimatur, a sort of a transparent base coat, and I like to use burnt sienna and just kind of massage that in so I get like a nice semi-transparent, or actually it is transparent, like a nice sort of sheen, like a nice base coat, just so I'm not staring at this blinding white canvas, which could really mess up your value relationships. And I like to just start with blue and just start drawing. Some artists will actually draw on the canvas first with charcoal or pencil. I like to just leap right into it with paint. So in this case, we're over 13th Street looking north. And I have a lot of affection for this area because when I first moved to Philadelphia when I was 18, which was like 1977, I lived in this neighborhood. And now, 45 years later, I'm back in the same neighborhood. And I used to walk up the street when I was 18 years old. And so even before you've put on any like substantial paint whatsoever, you can establish some sort of relative values. Sometimes I think that artists they're like the kid that came down during his parents' office party, and he had a lampshade on his head, and he did a little dance, and everybody clapped. And artists whether they're painters or dancers or musicians or whatever, they would be like that kid that decided, wow, this is pretty good, this is what I want to do. So I think it's like kind of wrapped up in your ego and just feeling like this is what you want to do and you won't settle for anything else. You don't want a regular 9-to-5 job or In other words, it's definitely like a personality thing, and having that personality for better or worse. So what I've done now is I still just have basically the brown and the blue, and it's a very complicated perspective on this. Like I said before, the top of this rail is kind of right at my horizon line, or possibly just like a hair beneath it. Like my eye level is maybe 2 inches above this rail. And so I've introduced white. I still only have burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, and now I'm just introducing some white. You could actually do a really handsome painting with just these 3 colors. There's a lot of cool stuff here. Tons of urban detritus, as we say. Telephone wires and architecture from different periods. A really nice kind of a marquee, not exactly a marquee, but like a decorative architectural element above the main doorway. And it doesn't look like much now, but that's going to be peeking out right about here. And it's one of the things that attracted me to the motif. And then this complete chaos of telephone wires. I mean, I have a lot of artists that I'm influenced by, and it changes and grows. And I think it's safe to say, or pretty obvious, that artists expand our experience. They could kind of be said to be on the front line of expanding our consciousness. And I don't mean just painters, I mean any writers, obviously writers, musicians, dancers, anything in the arts expands our consciousness, and we see things differently. And so it's that pretty much says it, that it's like a fascinating thing, and it's very interesting to see how different people have approached it, different cultures. I'm kind of pretty much squarely in the Western tradition, and I look at other things, but I'm trying to paint like Rembrandt or whatever, I'm an easel painter. This one's not really coming easy today. I'm actually pretty good with architecture and perspective, but maybe I jumped into this one like a tad too fast, and I found things were like way off, and I had to make corrections and back off. So I'm confident that I'll get it right, but it just didn't happen super quickly. I have so much experience painting outdoors and painting from life that with a simpler motif I can kind of get the basic drawing down within literally less than half an hour, and then just start sailing into color. But this one, you just can't do it justice, and I want to do it justice. It requires a little more analysis. My advice for new painters is, first and foremost, never lose sight of your dream and keep trying to be yourself. However, you're going to need a day job. You either have a day job, you marry money, you paint for the market, or you work super hard and you're able to achieve the Holy Grail, which is just to do whatever you want and support yourself doing it. So it's usually going to end up being a combination of those things. In my case, I take commissions and I do paint for the market to a certain degree so that I can make the money and then do whatever I want to do. Like this painting I'm not painting this for anybody. It's exactly what I want to do. But my advice to a young artist or any artist is if if you can find where doing what you want to do intersects with something commercially viable, push that, or at least give some time to that portion of your work so that you can earn money from it. And I always say, who would not like to write The Catcher in the Rye? It's a great book, but also still sells 1 million copies a year. So yeah, but never give up on your dream and just keep painting.